applications? Okay, very good.
Okay. We ready to?
Yeah, we're recording.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Great to see you. Happy New Year. You know, it's been since last year, right?
Yes, it has.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. Well, thank you all for being here. We appreciate it.
Impeachment is around the corner.
Absolutely. We might as well get that going right at the beginning. Absolutely. All right. So I guess we should take roll here. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So Alderman Barber.
Here.
Justin.
Here.
Barbara.
Here.
Tim.
Here.
Steve Bobowski. He's here as well. All right. We got it. That said, we've got a quorum. All right. Pledge allegiance, if you will.
Yes, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. So we want to approve our minutes from October, is that right?
Yeah.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Moved. All right. Now then we're going to talk about the administrative review for sign permitting in the Franklin Industrial Park. Amendment PDD 7 for staff approval of sign permits in the Franklin Industrial Park.
So
That you?
Regular will handle that.
All right.
Good afternoon, Regulo Martinez, Principal Planner with the Department of City Development. This is an amendment to the Plan Development District to streamline the review process for sign permits and applications. So currently the process is a two-step process. It first starts with a sign review. I think you have reviewed at least one application last year.
Yep.
Then if the Economic Development Commission approved the sign review, then the applicant submit an application for a sign permit. So basically, city development staff review the applications twice because it has to review the sign review and it has to review the sign permit. So the intent of this amendment is to eliminate the sign review, so the applicants will only need to apply for the sign permit. And that will reduce the processing time to about 2 or 3 weeks that normally takes the sign permits, while the sign review add like an additional 30, 60 days, depending on the schedule of the Economic Development Commission, to add an application to the agenda. City Development staff presented a similar ordinance for the Franklin Business Park, and that was approved, that was 2 years ago. This report that you have in the packet was prepared for the December meeting. So just a couple of updates. The Plan Commission recommended approval of this ordinance amendment following a public hearing that was in December. And this is scheduled for next week's Common Council meeting for decision. And happy to answer any questions that you may have.
So basically, this cuts us out, right? You don't need us anymore to review it?
Correct. For signs. Only for signs.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So then we're voting on eliminating something for us to do.
Very good.
Well, open discussion. What do you think?
Would there be any remaining PDDs where we would still have sign review?
No, because the Economic Development Commission is only for PDD 7. However, if a proposal doesn't comply with the requirement of the PDD and they would like to request, like for example, a variance, that will still go to the Economic Development Commission.
And this is an amendment to the UDO then, or just?
To the Plan Development District ordinance, that is part of the UDO.
So the desire to do this is to save a couple weeks that our input is not important.
No, I didn't mean that. Because
Well, I get. Well, I mean, you're cutting us out.
it's
So, what is the
only-
real purpose?
It's only for signs that complies with all the requirements of the PDD. If it doesn't comply and they need a variance, they will go to the Economic Development Commission.
Okay.
Because we have, by ordinance, we're part of the industrial park, which is our purview. Is that correct?
Correct.
No.
Correct.
Steve, the industrial park is our purview.
Yeah.
That's why we have this.
Right.
And then we pass it to council.
Okay.
Okay.
And basically, we're saying we don't want to be involved in that anymore. That's what this would say.
No, that's right.
Indeed. There's reference to a public hearing. Was there any kind of reaction at the public hearing?
No comments.
No comments, okay. Very good.
Any other discussion? I mean,
Reading the amendment, it looks like it doesn't make reference to as long as it was otherwise in compliance. It just says that it'll be carried about by DCD. It doesn't say anything about with regard to it having to be in compliance to begin with.
Correct, because this is for sign review that is assumed that the sign complies with all the standards. If it doesn't comply, that will be a sign variance, and
Okay.
it's a different process.
That's why it's a review. You're just reviewing the application, and if there's an issue, then we have to, the commission has to deal with that. Otherwise, it's just standard procedure.
okay. All right. Thoughts, Mike? What do you think?
I'm just reading the. I don't have a problem moving it on.
Is there a reason it wasn't just done in 22 and PDD 18 was? Was there a reason 7 was held out at all? There wasn't a particular issue or anything? Because why wouldn't you just do them all right away?
Yeah, we did it first for the PDD 18 to see how was the reception for that amendment, and it was approved, and then like kind of the next project was to present it to this board, to this commission, sorry.
I really joined to approve signs, so I just don't.
Yeah, gotcha.
I'm all in favor of streamlining the process. I mean,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean,
We
Yeah.
had this under review
I don't
about
see
5
why.
years ago, didn't we?
You're right.
The sign project.
seriously.
It wouldn't have been me looking at it.
No.
I get it, Aaron.
I think we did have that as something we were talking about, and it never got resolved because of the one was doing this, one was doing this, and it never got pulled together. That's why I think streamlining it would be follow-up to that whole process that started 5 or 6 years ago, so.
So, consistent with Justin, in the case of a variance, it does come back in front of us? And where does it say that?
Well, it's not listed here because this is prepared like for the sign review. But yeah, a sign variance has a different process. It has to go to the EDC, Economic, and then to the Board of Zoning and Building Appeals for the decision on a
Okay.
variance.
But that's not in here.
No.
Okay.
So I fear the word assume.
Yeah, me too. Other than that,
Ordinances.
yeah, otherwise I would probably say, okay, I'm good there. If there's some way you can at least put in the notes that it was, not assumed, but it was that in variances,
Sure.
it would come in front of the E EDC.
There's no economic impact to this. I'm assuming they don't pay a separate fee to have us review.
They had, for the sign review, it's a $40 fee.
That's the moneymaker. Okay. Any other discussion? So my recommendation is assuming that in the case of a variance, and that's going to be in the notes, I recommend we approve this.
That's your motion?
Yeah, can we have a motion?
I'm so moved.
I will second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Boom. Approved. But wait, there's more. Is this next one you too? The feral equipment?
Feral.
Oh, you're
Thank
on a
you.
roll
Yeah,
today.
thank
Look
you.
at you.
Start here. Okay. Here, this is a site plan amendment application submitted by Feral Investments for a fence storage area, basically this area here for basically outdoor storage of construction materials and equipment. The applicant received a zoning compliance permit for this use 2 years ago, so it's a permitted use. And this application was submitted, kind of was reviewed last year. We had a back and forth with the applicant. The applicant addressed all the staff comments except for one, that is with regards to the screening. So what the ordinance says for outdoor storage is that it shall be screened from view from the street and adjoining properties with a solid wall or fence or other screening approved by the Industrial Development Commission, that is now the EDC. Walls and fences must be kept painted or have such other finish so as to provide a good appearance. Wire fence is not acceptable for this purpose.
What page you on?
Oh, and page number 1 of the staff report.
Oh, that's in the bottom down there?
Yeah. So the staff recommendation is approval with conditions, with one condition, that the applicant must submit a revised site plan depicting a masonry wall or wood fence instead of a chain link fence, subject to review and approval by the Department of City Development prior to the issuance of the building permits. And staff is recommending this condition based on the ordinance section that I just cited. So you have the resolution in your packet with 5 conditions. That includes the condition recommended by staff. But if the Economic Development Commission decides to approve as presented by the applicant, then I have another resolution with 4 conditions, basically eliminating what staff is recommending. I'm happy to answer any questions from the commission.
So they would be okay with a wooden fence?
Wood fence or masonry wall is acceptable by the ordinance, but the ordinance says or other screening approved by the commission. So if the commission finds that the chain link fence is acceptable, that the commission may approve.
So they've got free will then, basically, is the saying. They can approve anything.
The commission may approve this chain link fence with privacy slabs is what the applicant is proposing. Justin is here. Would like
Justin,
to
how are
provide
you?
additional information.
Thank you.
So you're, I assume that's what you want, is a chain link fence?
Yes, we would prefer to have a chain link fence with privacy slats, in part because obviously cost of a masonry wall is going to be substantial. A wooden fence with, this area is intended for storage of construction materials such as vinyl window wells and styrofoam insulation panels and that kind of thing. It's for storage of that and for display of it to customers that may come in. Moving those materials around, there's a concern that those wooden fences will get nicked and bumped and it'll become a maintenance nightmare where a chain link fence has a little bit of give to it if something gets bumped. We feel that it could be done in an aesthetically pleasing manner.
Well, I guess what you said was that you're displaying the potential customers. So it's not gonna be basically a bunch of old lawnmowers and broken out snow.
And it's not, broken widgets that are being thrown out back to wait to be picked up either. So that's the intended use of this area and the reasoning why we're requesting the chain link versus the other ones.
Who are the neighbors to this property?
That's a good, I don't know who the neighbors are. I think you said you knew who they were actually, but
I think you're near S&C Electric if you're on South 54.
we're on South 54. Yes.
And maybe Chrome Tech.
I apologize, I didn't look that closely at the neighbors on that.
I don't know.
Which one's your building?
We
Well,
are.
where's 54? This is 57.
54.
Yeah.
Put my glasses on.
How visible is that to them?
I can look into the aerial map.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
we've got the
okay,
aerial
don't
there.
do
We
that.
can do that right now.
Just to know who's there and who's,
Sure.
it'd be visible too.
Sure.
Because those slats fall out of those chain link
This is the very
fences.
south.
Crack.
Just as well.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah,
exactly.
chain link fences with slats kind of get messy too.
Right, yeah, and they may need to be repaired and replaced on occasion too, sure,
That's why I'm asking who the neighbors are and proximity of what they're gonna see.
yes.
So when you say it's more expensive, how much more expensive is it?
I haven't done a cost estimate on it. I was just talking to John from Feral Equipment a minute ago, and he said he thought a masonry wall around there was going to be $200,000.
Well, there's a lot of difference between 100 and 200.
There is, true.
And the chain link fence?
Yeah, that's probably 350 feet. I'd say $100 a foot, maybe. So
Okay.
maybe $50,000.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Is there any requirement on the height of this fence? I didn't see anything in here about height. Not that it has to.
I mean, generally, if you
We're
surround
proposing a
other
6 foot.
properties,
6 foot?
Yes.
yeah.
There's no residential properties around there, right?
I'm looking for that.
So if I read this correctly, Regulo, the city staff says it should be masonry or wood, right?
Yes, based on the ordinance for the
Okay.
PDD.
So it's coming to us, why?
Because the ordinance says any structures needs to be presented before the Economic Development Commission for approval.
But you already shot it down. You don't like it.
For signs only.
No, down here it says, the staff recommends a masonry wall or wood fence for screening. That's your recommendation, correct?
Correct. Based on the ordinance.
Based on the ordinance. Have there been any other exceptions to the ordinance that we're aware of?
I recall an application was 1 or 2 years ago that was approved with a different screening. I think it was the chain link fence with privacy slats.
Okay, so that has been done in the past?
Yeah.
Okay.
And where's the fence on this aerial view? Where are we talking?
Approximately here. Oh, sorry. Here.
Right, we're using part of that parking lot, maybe one row of parking stalls that's there today, and then expanding the pavement to the west. Get a point to it. Taking this little bit of parking here and going west and closing that, grabbing some of the grass, and creating this yard from that.
Is there any other, that block, is there any other properties that have any type of screening in place?
No, they're unaware, but the other project that we have on the agenda is here, this one, and they are proposing. Well, I don't want to get into that item yet, but it's outdoor storage with screening.
What was the original purpose of not allowing metal or chain link? Was it an aesthetic thing or was it upkeep maintenance concerns?
The ordinance doesn't say why.
Well, my guess is you can see through a chain link fence, so if it's a big pile of junk, you don't wanna look at it.
The other question too is the way this screening section is written, it says a solid fence of these types or as may be approved. It says no wire fencing may be approved. But 2 sections down, when it talks about security fencing around the property, it speaks about chain link being allowed for that. And I understand security and screening are 2 different things, but it makes me wonder a little bit whether that original language, wire fencing, was intended to prohibit chain link, or if it was intended to prohibit your barnyard fencing around there. So.
What's the purpose of the fence? It would seem like if you're doing outdoor storage and essentially a showroom, it would be for security and not.
Correct. That would be my opinion on it too.
And so the slats add visual obscurity.
Because we are putting product out there, and we do want to secure it, so.
Well, I think the concern here is that it's going to look crappy after a couple of years.
And that's,
And that would be the concern I would have, is that if there's nothing in here that says, okay, if it now, a slat or two goes, how fast are we going to replace them, all that kind of stuff, and there's nothing in here for that. That to me would be the concern, and I'm sure that's why we have it as a masonry or wood fence, so that it locked up, looks good, nobody's offended by it.
just clarified by slat, it's like the really thin PVC that just
Right.
weaves
And
between.
it cracks and all that stuff, yeah.
Cracks, breaks, flies all over my yard, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'd be open to a condition in there that requires it to be maintained and kept in good condition, similar to the way the ordinance is written for a wood or masonry fence, where it says it must be kept up and painted and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's in there somewhere.
No, it's not in the draft resolution, but it
It's in
could be
the
added to the
code.
motion.
Right, it's in the code section, walls and fences must be kept painted or have such other finish as to provide good appearance. So I think we can apply that to the fencing of the slats too.
Has anybody been out to the site and knows where this is?
I did a site visit.
I mean, is it visible from where, obviously it's the aesthetics I think we're concerned about with this thing. Do you see it driving by, and is it going to be an eyesore?
It's 125 by 100 or 150. You're gonna see it, it's gonna, definitely from that 54th Street entrance, it's gonna be visible as you drive down 54th and probably from Oakwood and 57th.
Okay. So then the aesthetics will matter. And I think that's why we have it here as a masonry or wood fence. So one more time, the staff recommends what?
Either masonry wall or wood fence.
Okay. And I understand masonry, you're saying a couple 100,000. Can you get a little closer? Like, is it 200 versus a fence of 50? I get the difference. Wood would be about how much?
I couldn't even guess at that, I haven't priced a wood fence.
Yeah.
When this was made up, I'm sure that, looking at this right here, looking at this map, I don't see where it would be offensive to have a chain link fence in any kind of shape or form. And I have driven the area, I know it, from what it looks like, not specifically this property. But I don't think a chain link fence, if it's maintained and kept, with the slats and done that way, I don't think it would be a problem to have that. So I'd be willing to make the motion to go with it as amended.
I'd second.
Excuse me, do you mean as presented by the applicant?
Yes.
Okay.
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't see the issue with it's an industrial area, their neighbors are, I mean, we're not talking about, $750,000 homes across the street looking at it, so on that.
I would like to know what the height is, though, like you said.
6 foot.
What height you
Six
anticipate?
feet. 6
Seven-
feet, 6
seven-
feet tall.
6 foot tall fence.
My view of it is that chain link fence after, a masonry wall, sure, it's gonna hold up for, after a nuclear blast, but, the chain link fence, I don't really believe it's gonna look like garbage after 2 years. It's
You think it will or
probably gonna
won't?
be- It won't. My view of it is it's gonna be easier for them to maintain. They're gonna be, if they put in a wooden wall in there, they're gonna be moving material in there. Somebody's gonna bang into it with a whatever you move stuff with, a skid loader, I have no idea what you do, but somebody's gonna bang into it with something. That chain link fence is gonna hold up better than a wooden wall. And my view is the wooden wall is gonna look like garbage after about 2 or 3 years.
You had a chain link fence, it may give, but you're going to break posts and things like that, Tim. I mean,
Is it-
And then the
Well,
slats are
again,
gonna break too.
You know, then it's cheaper and easier for them to fix.
Has there been a second
And
to that?
Yes, there's a motion and a second.
Okay.
I just, we're splitting hairs here. I thought we were supposed to be friendly towards business.
Yeah, and I agree with that, and that's probably why I think it's worth looking at. We should not hinder them from that. As long as there's if it starts to look crappy, they fix it, because that's to me what this is all about. So we would need to have some sort of language that says,
That's my only concern.
I mean, if something goes, they fix it. I don't know how you're going to put it in there, but
Well, the ordinance already says that. It says that to provide a good appearance. So whatever's there
It's already there.
needs to provide a good appearance.
wire fence. Yeah, and it also says right after that, wire fence is not acceptable for this purpose. So now we're saying wire fence with slats is acceptable as long as it's provides a good appearance.
Repaired and maintained in a timely manner.
Those are all loose kind of things there, but I get it. Okay? You want to go ahead and one more time propose it, or you seconding it?
No,
Well,
No, it's already
we
on
have
the
the
floor, right?
motion and
All
a
we
Okay.
have to do is call for the
All
question.
right, let's do a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Yeah, I'm kind of not there yet.
I don't have a problem with the chain link fence, it's the privacy slatting that's getting me, because that does break down with no actual wording as to, like, you have to replace your dead tree within 6 months or by the next planting season. Without something like that, I think it just really
Well-
leaves it up to,
Okay, what they're doing is they're putting that stuff out there. Again, it's not a bunch of garbage. It's actual product they're selling, and they're taking customers out there. So I really have a hard time believing they're just going to let it look like garbage. He's trying to sell the stuff.
I don't know, I mean, from what they're saying, it's foam boards and sewer entry grates, things like that. So
How, given the language of this, how can we, I'd be willing to amend my motion if there'd be that kind of language that you're concerned about that we could insert.
30 days?
I feel it's,
30 days?
Absolutely.
Okay. Good.
I'd make the motion as to amend to include that language, that repairs has to be done within 30 days.
Okay. Now, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Done.
Thank you.
You bet.
Regular, we need to rewrite the resolution for that,
Yes.
add that in, okay.
And that goes to council? No,
No.
Well,
this is just ours.
yeah, and you'll just have to,
Yep.
we'll have to get a signature and
Fine.
a text.
For next meeting or?
Yeah, I can do it at the next meeting, or I
Okay.
can chase it down.
Got it.
But, yeah.
Okay. Now we come to Alice Roller, special use. That's why you're up here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. From Florida.
I'll come all the way just for this meeting.
Yeah, thanks. Great job.
About
Nice,
fence.
nice family. Yeah.
And family, he said that's.
Yeah. That's true.
Two applications, a special use amendment and a site plan amendment submitted by Alice Roller for the expansion of their business. So what you see to the right are the existing conditions. And the applicant is proposing this building addition with additional parking, loading docks to the south, and outdoor storage area here, and landscape and a landscape plan.
Is that picture of theirs?
Yes, I will go to that.
Okay.
And if you want to refer to your packets, it's a separate packet under this item.
So the special use that was approved for the previous business imposed some conditions, and the applicant is requesting to basically remove two of the conditions that were imposed for the previous business. So the first condition is the curb and gutter. So the previous resolution states that any future expansion of the special use requires installation of curb and gutter on the parking lot and driveway.
So we're gonna get rid of the curb and the gutter here?
No. So what the Unified Development Ordinance says about curb and gutter is that the Plan Commission, in this case will be the Common Council because that's the decision maker for the special use, may waive this requirement in areas without a predominance of curb and gutter. So it means when curb and gutter is not installed on the adjacent streets. In this case, in 57th Street, there's curb and gutter that is installed, as you can see in this picture. And in the another street to the north, curb and gutter is also installed. Where curb and gutter is not installed is on the street to the west. It is 60th Street. So, given that the adjacent streets have curb and gutter, the staff is recommending that this condition not be removed. So, it's recommended denial of this request to remove the curb and gutter condition. The other condition that the applicant is requesting to amend is the outdoor storage. The previous resolution prohibited outdoor storage. So the applicant is proposing to remove that condition to allow for this outdoor storage area basically south of the building addition. The applicant is proposing for a screening, so this is kind of similar to the previous application. The applicant is proposing a landscape screening. You can see here kind of these arborvitae for storage screening, and the applicant provided some renderings. Basically, this is with views from the two streets that this will be visible, 57th Street and 60th Street. So you can see here that basically the existing vegetation and the proposed landscape will kind of provide that screening for the outdoor storage area. So the staff is recommending approval of this request with the condition that the installed landscape will be replaced in the case of any diminution of any planting. Okay. If the request for to allow the outdoor storage is denied, then the owner will need to remove the existing outdoor storage that is basically south of the existing building, as you can see on this picture.
Say that again. So if we deny the vegetation version, right?
No, if
The
the commission denies the request to allow for outdoor storage, so the applicant will need to remove the existing outdoor storage because it's prohibited.
So they'd be able to keep this
No, they will need to remove that
either way.
Well, we've got,
if the commission denies the request.
But if we say yes, that's not the storage we're saying yes to, right? We're saying
Correct,
yes to the
correct.
other
I mean,
picture.
they will need to remove it anyway to allow for the building expansion. But even for some reason they decide to not do the building expansion, then they will need to remove the existing outdoor storage because it's prohibited by the resolution.
Can we go back to the first slide?
Sure.
I had one question about that. Over here on this side, you see like a line buffer area. Come in a little bit further. You got diagonal lines
Oh,
in further.
here.
On the existing building up at top, and you got some lined area. Yeah. What is that coming down the side now?
Here?
Nope. Come over. Over. Down. That area that's lined.
That's the existing.
that's our existing facility, yeah.
Is what?
The
Existing building.
The existing
okay.
building.
Talks about is the expansion.
But they have this That's notes that they added to the plan. These boxes here
Yeah.
are just notes with information.
Okay. I understand that, but I just didn't know what those diagonal lines were going up and then across. That's still, because it doesn't seem to be in character with the other building, I just was wondering. And this one extends out into that, that's why I was concerned. I didn't know if they were cutting off some buffer
Okay.
area or not.
Yeah, the dark
No.
gray box below it's our expansion,
Correct.
so pretty much doubling the square footage of our flat here in Franklin.
Mhm.
And where those little text boxes are in the dark shaded area, the expansion, that's where that current stuff is being stored.
Yeah,
Approximately,
basically,
yeah,
right.
correct. Yeah.
and that wouldn't move to the south of the building then.
Correct.
Yeah, we're gonna have to move it out for construction. We rented a small warehouse on 96th Street, or 9600 on 60th Street. Yep. And then after we build the building and put the arborvitae in, we would use it outdoor storage when we need it. We're gonna have a lot of room in the building for a while.
Yeah.
So we probably don't have to go outside with anything for a while, but what we wanna do is, since we're opening this amendment up, let's get it approved now, so in the future, when we do wanna store something out there, we've got approval, the arborvitae will be all grown up before we put anything out there, so.
And that's in that double line box to the south of the new building?
Yes, that's right.
That's, says outdoor storage.
Your
area.
eyes are better than mine, but yeah, that's.
Right in
Here.
there,
And
that's
not
your
gonna be
proposed.
fenced in or
Yep.
anything?
Eventually, that would be outdoor storage again.
Yes,
And the only blockage would be the natural and rather the environment that you're putting in the arborvitae.
Mhm.
Okay.
and that is, so that's also, when you go farther south, the new lift station that was built along 60th Street
Okay.
also partially hides that storage area back there. So
Oh,
there's
okay.
more trees, there's the lift station, that help to
Okay.
shield that view from 60th Street.
So what are you guys doing with all the extra space?
We're growing.
Good. Nice.
Hiring more people.
Yeah, good. So that increases your capacity by how much?
Well, it's double.
Double?
I mean, yeah, so we're doing about 40 million a year out of this building.
Yeah.
So this,
Could take it up to 80?
yeah.
And then how many employees do you anticipate having?
So, Ag Market's a little slow. So our peak was about 140 people, last, June, January through June timeframe. So we'd be looking to probably add another 30 people back there for manufacturing. We're also looking at putting a paint line in.
My opinion is that you have proven above and beyond that you're a good corporate citizen. And I'm sure you're going to maintain well above whatever the standard there would be, so
Yes.
I don't have a problem with the expansion and then the approval of the storage.
What is that stuff you're storing?
So what we have, we do a lot of work with John Deere and CNH. And some of these parts are pretty big. They have returnable racking. Primarily it's steel racking.
Oh.
So
alright.
that goes outside because it's really non-productive to have it in there if you need the floor space. And we grew so fast over the last couple of years. We didn't have anything out there for a long time, but really over the last couple of years we had to start putting some steel racking out there.
How tall is that racking gonna go?
That racking right now, if you pull that picture back up.
Yeah, I think
that's
we
about-
noted it on there because it was asked.
It looked about 8 feet, but.
Yeah, it's usually 3 racks, and they're about
Mhm.
4 feet each, so it might go 10 or 12 feet.
You're looking for this one?
No, the
No,
one,
the other
the one
one.
that actually showed the
Oh,
racking
yeah.
outside the building. Yeah, so you can kind of see how it is. Our new building is gonna be taller. So current building is 18 feet, I think, under the purling. The new one's gonna be 24. So the building's gonna step up to 28 feet tall on the outside.
So the things you're putting out there aren't things that can theoretically be stolen.
No, that's why we don't have any security fencing. If someone wants to steal a big CNH rack, okay,
Alright.
good luck.
And we did a whole bunch of sightline studies. Putting the landscape out where we did it actually helped screen it better than if it was a fence or right up against it. So to me, it kind of gave a better flavor to the environment around.
Yeah, the arborvitae's on the east side also screen the loading dock that we have out there, so.
I just,
They look pretty. The question is, are they gonna be as tall enough to block the
They will be by the time we gotta put stuff out there. Like I said, it's a future, we wanna make sure we take
Yeah.
care of it now
Yeah.
for a future request, so we don't have to do this again,
Mhm.
5, 6, 7 years.
For me, it's like this and the other one, the staff is denying it based upon an existing UDO that's under rewrite now in a large extent. And a lot of this maybe gets looked at within a new UDO. So I understand why you're doing it with an existing UDO out there. We have to honor that. So the denials are based upon an existing UDO, but I think there are exceptions that can be made to this. And I think given who is requesting it and the history, I think it would be appropriate to do an exception without affecting the original intent of the UDO and the founders of whatever that was. So I think the denial based on a UDO is very valid, but you have to take it in a case by case.
I would agree.
So you're suggesting, Mike, that the expansion is a yes and the
Outdoor storage.
outdoor storage with the arborvitae,
Yeah.
yes?
And the curb issue.
Well, you didn't cover
That's
that.
different, yeah.
The curb, currently there is curb, and we're saying they don't need curb? Is that what I?
No, that's what I'm.
No, I mean, there's curb and gutter on the 2 of the adjacent streets, public
Right.
streets, but they don't have curb and gutter on site, on their private side. That makes sense?
Not, well,
Yeah, so
it doesn't
as you can
work,
see in the
yeah,
picture
but-
here.
Yeah,
So-
so we've got curb there, you're not gonna chop that out, you're gonna leave that.
No, that's
Right.
city street.
Yeah.
I'm talking about curb and gutter for their parking lot and drive. Do you see what I mean?
No. So on the parking lot,
So current parking lot does not have curb and gutter in
this one here.
Correct.
it, correct, so front or back.
Okay.
And the buildings around us, so I did a little survey here, just
Yeah.
of who has curb and gutter and who doesn't. So there, Lubrizol across the street has curb and gutter, but of the adjacent buildings, that's really the only building that has curb and gutter, and they've got a concrete parking lot. I will say, when I did this survey and kind of drove around and looked at things, we're probably gonna go with like a hybrid here. So curb and gutter probably going into the parking lots, and then some curb and gutter on the front where we have our visitors park and our front parking. But I'll be looking to get rid of the curb and gutter like in the employee parking and the back parking. And make sure that the front of the building looks good and it looks good for visitors.
Yeah.
Um,
That's our proposal. That's
Yeah.
what we-
Yeah.
and-
How much does that save you?
$100,000.
That's real money.
No, it's real money. And that was kind of the thing, you know, the building's expensive already. We're trying to cut, you know, where can we save a little bit of money? And curb and gutter is one, so.
But just so I understand, all this on the street is still gonna be curb and gutter.
The street's
Correct.
curb and gutter, yep.
And where is the curb and gutter on the, you say it's in this picture somewhere, in that parking lot?
No.
No, we have
The
nothing in the
side.
parking lot
Other
right now.
side.
Existing.
We have
Okay.
a map.
It's only
You can
because
pull
they're
up.
expanding that all of a sudden they're required now to.
Right, because of the special use permit. If we change a parking lot or put a parking lot in or add a parking lot, you have to add the curb and gutter, which,
And that's an ordinance for how long have we said that? And why did we do that? Just because aesthetics?
Regular, what is the purpose of, why curb and gutter? Is it for water drain off purposes?
Well, that's one reason. The other reason is to kind of avoid cars going into the landscape area. That's another reason.
Carts.
Yeah, you know, the cars where
Yeah,
the
vehicles.
cars, yeah, you know.
help protect,
Yeah.
but we've had it for years. Like I said, I think in the front, I would like to propose some curb and gutter up there because it does look good. And I saw other buildings where they didn't have it on the main parking lots, but in the visitor areas and the front driveway coming in had curb and gutter, and it looked good. Not gonna say it doesn't.
Okay, so let's add that to it and,
So it'll give us some flexibility to do a hybrid.
Yeah.
Curb and no curb, and we'll submit a plan.
okay.
Just a note on the actions of the commission. So the special use amendment, that is the outdoor storage and the curb and gutter, the decision maker on that application is the common council. So the commission will provide a recommendation.
Right.
And for the site plan amendment, that is all the design except for the other storage and the curb and gutter, it's up to the commission to approve. But if the commission approve it, and for some reason the common council deny the special use, so the applicant will need to kind of come back to the commission for a revised site plan.
Okay, so right now it sounds to me like we're agreeing for the expansion, yes. We're agreeing to the storage, and we're agreeing to a blended curb gutter. Is that, I'm looking around and making yes?
They don't approve the expansion, do they, though?
The site plan, correct.
The site plan is.
It will approve the
okay.
expansion,
Right, okay, you're
but
right.
it cannot eliminate the conditions of the previous special
Right,
use.
right, right. Okay.
So did I
Yep, you
summarize
had it
that
right.
right?
You had it right.
And you guys are okay with that blended?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I did the little survey today, drove around and looked at who has curb and who doesn't. And as I was doing that, I was like, oh, all these people don't have curb. But then I pulled in some places that had that blended or a hybrid, you know, they had some curb places and then the big parking lots don't have it. I'm like, yeah, I think we should do that. It looks better. It's gonna look good out in front of our building.
And you do mention something about creating ponds and collection
Yeah,
areas
so
for the
right now,
stormwater
all of
runoff?
our water runoff is planned, we've got ponds and holding areas. So the way the original parking lot was planned, it was gonna drain all into the green areas and into ponds or swales. So, retention areas.
And I think of the hybrid situation Russ is talking, is really, in my opinion, why the ordinance is there is that unfamiliar users, front parking lot, the office, potentially drive into, they do think where the back area, you can see just naturally looks better. So I think that hybrid, I think, is a good mix of.
Okay, so can I get a proposal for whatever I said?
Is there a motion?
I know what I said, but can I get that?
Somebody's gotta put in words.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there a recommended motion at this point?
No.
No, we're looking for that.
We're working.
Mm-hmm.
So the action we're taking is making a recommendation, or we are actually.
We propose, for part of it.
It will be for the special use to recommend approval of the applicant's request.
Yeah, we're recommending that
Yes.
the council approve.
Right.
Correct.
Mhm.
For the special use. And for the site plan is to recommend, to adopt the resolution that you have in your packet.
Well, does this resolution calls for a hybrid or not?
Well, what the resolution says is that is not amending the resolution of the previous resolution. Says, the conditions of approval for the special use permit granted by the resolution 2003-5502 remain in effect unless specifically amended by a separate resolution. That separate resolution is what the common council will take action on. And it says-
We recommend that they do that.
Correct.
So it's our role to recommend to council that they grant that.
Correct.
I make that motion.
Well, I'm not sure what we made a motion to, so one more time.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a motion,
Yeah.
one motion, to recommend approval of the special use request,
Which is?
which is removal of the condition of the curb and gutter and removal of the condition prohibiting the outdoor storage. That's one motion.
Okay, so, but we're not saying that. We're saying that it's gonna be a blended curb and gutter. That's what I just heard.
Yep.
So then that's not what yours said here.
Well, but you have to remove the,
Well, it's not a complete removal. It's a partial removal.
Remove the stipulation and call it a blended.
That's
Okay,
what we're
so-
agreeing to.
Just to confirm,
So
what you mean by blended is curb and gutter
I would
at
say
the
that.
driveway, but
curb-
not for the parking lot.
Curb and gutter at the driveway, curb and gutter for the front parking lot, I think, and then just the curb and gutter entrances, and then no curb and gutter for the employee parking lots.
Right, that's
In the
what,
back
that's
of
what
the
we're,
building. That's
I'm
thinking.
I think we're agreeing to. I'm agreeing to at least, yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
okay. So that's the motion for the special use.
okay.
so then should we take a vote on that then?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alrighty.
So, all in favor?
Was there a second?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay.
And there's another motion
Well,
that
then.
is to adopt the resolution approving the site plan amendment. This resolution is not removing any of the previous condition of approval because that's up to the common council.
But it is approving the site plan.
Correct.
I'll make that motion to
Hold
approve
on,
the site
wait,
plan.
but the site plan meaning with the stipulations we just agreed to, or is this just?
No,
nothing?
Correct, but the
separate.
stipulations that the commission is recommending, the decision maker is the common council.
Yeah, not us.
It's only providing a recommendation.
Okay,
This one, this motion, we're deciding on their site plan with the new building and
Yeah.
then the reduced storage, eventually with the arborvitae.
okay, got it.
That's the one we're-
Mm-hmm. Do we have a motion?
Well, he has,
He
it's
does?
your motion, right?
Motion?
Yes.
I'll
Second?
second it.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Okay.
And here's the resolution, John. Oh, it's here. That's for the site plan.
Then we need his signatures. Right? So, we can get
Yep.
you to sign that and we'll get Tim to attest it.
John, can you note that I didn't vote on either of those?
Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
Just wanted to note that I didn't vote on either of those.
Oh,
So you guys out of here? That's it?
This is exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great to see all of you again.
Thanks for your time. Yep.
Thanks,
Thanks very much.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, John.
Good to see you.
Say hi.
Everybody-
I will.
Bye.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, you're out of here too?
Yes.
he's done.
Oh,
People who
man.
start
He gets to start his weekend
I'm
now.
not feeling the love anymore. It's
And-
like
But
you
we're
can't
getting
be
somebody
done.
else in. We're getting rid
Oh,
of
but
him.
wait, all right.
but somebody else is
Yeah.
coming
You
in.
gonna grill me like that? I don't know. Kind of seat here, there.
You can sit here and
Yeah,
maybe
come on.
do you need to
Um,
share with
Yeah, if you don't mind, is there a plug in I can use?
Can you open up the
I can also
computer?
email it to you, John.
You can just plug that into the computer.
Oh yes, yeah. It should be table.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Mr.
Good evening,
Brooks,
good
how are you?
afternoon.
Did they all leave happy?
Yeah.
I think so. I can tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only because I
Well,
decided to shut up.
What's not Alice Roller's going to expand by 30
I
employees?
have
That was my
concern.
headline, if I heard that correctly.
They're
Yeah.
currently operating
Yeah.
outside of the special
That's a
use
good deal.
with outdoor storage.
Yeah, that they
So
are.
that's, is there any action we take on that?
They're saying you have to cease and desist.
Yeah, so if they haven't received, because the way it's worded, essentially we're saying, oh, you can keep that till we decide what we're gonna do. So we're letting them operate outside of the boundaries of their current special
If
use.
we didn't approve it today, they'd have to take it down. That would be the.
But they also agreed to curb and gutter when they took over the property from Nortec, so. I don't know, it's just, that's why I decided not to vote, because, you know,
Okay.
Okay,
If not, I can.
all valid.
Not too long. Keeping
Do you have internet connection?
I do. I'm actually on the gas Wi-Fi.
he doesn't
Okay.
need the second cord.
So
Right?
do you have Zoom?
I do.
Okay. So if you can join to this meeting and then
Yeah.
we'll share the screen.
I'm
Where's
perfect.
the 16th?
Yes, yes it is.
Type in the meeting ID number. Okay. We're gonna join this.
Can I have that so I can join
Oh, yeah.
from this?
No problem.
Thank you.
Stop right there.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad to be able to present. It will not take long, I hope. So I'll quickly, while we fire this up, I'm Eric Brooks. I am with Rizzolo Communications Group / Carl Collective. And we've been working for a number of months now on, proudly working on this project with the Economic Development Commission. We appreciate the opportunity. And are wrapping it up. Our goal, I say at the end, is to deliver the final product in the next 2 weeks. A little bit late, apologize for that, but I think you'll like what you see and will be very valuable for what you do and what the commission does and what the city does in promoting the city as an economic development engine. So the slideshow, I have a quick slideshow that kind of reminds you of the work we agreed to, and I can share my screen with you. Let me share my screen. And
Okay, now you can share the screen.
all right, perfect. Reminds you of what we're working on, and where we're. And I'm going to hand out something for your reaction as well. That really is the basis of this. Like, I do have printed copies, so I'm going to set it up a little bit first. So here it is. All right. Okay, so. So reminding you of what we agreed to and promised you, and you'll see we're very far along in all of this. A little less so in the business park piece. We have a little conversation about that. Asset gathering, one pagers for right now. We're committed to 2. The website audit refresh, including direction to your staff to make some changes within the current framework of the City of Franklin's website when it comes to business and economic development information. Still working within that framework, and we're doing the updates, but still giving you some clear feedback, clear direction to use as you see fit. And economic development guide. I don't want to undersell the importance of the photo asset. So you're going to get dozens of photos with this, and they're going to be reflected in what I hand you and the stuff we send you. But you're going to get dozens of photos by 2 professional photographers and others. But we hired 2 professional photographers for this. One that did several ground shots, and we're working with John to figure out where exactly, and a drone photographer as well. One of the preeminent drone photographers in the city. And so these are just a few examples of them. And I think these will be great for you to use in any way you see fit. These will be yours. You own these. This is, again, a sampling of some of the stuff you'll be getting. So you'll have some really improved imagery to use as you do things going forward too. So we appreciate, that was a late addition to the budget, but I think you're going to find it was a good one. And we can certainly refer you for more if there's plenty of other photographers, but we're really pleased with the work as well. So that's part of this contract. You'll receive those images.
How many photos did we get?
It's dozens. I would say over 30. You'll have really strong visual. I mean, there's obviously a lot of versions of these and things, but so at least dozens of different. I mean, it's not everything in the city, but it's a certain time frame and so on. But you'll get pretty strong sampling to use in various things. Yeah.
If you go to the top slide again, was that all City of Milwaukee?
Yeah, that's all
pictures?
Milwaukee.
That's a skyline, yeah.
Way up on top.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, that's just our thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
City of Franklin Development.
That's
not part of the.
No, this is the name of the presentation.
Okay, because that's all Milwaukee.
Oh yeah. This is our standard template thing. So.
Oh, okay.
That's a nice picture. But no, you will have dozens of, I promise, Franklin specifics, strong Franklin specifics.
I mean, they're nice pictures.
Yeah. No, but these are that's just kind of our boilerplate front slide for everything. Good catch. Maybe I'll personalize these next time. So again, this example. So I want to remind you of that. Business park promotional materials. This is an area John and I have been talking about a little bit even this week on what we're delivering here. We've committed to 2, and So we'll deliver these. We've been talking about, should we deliver one that advertises every business park, or at least shows like you've got 5 strong business parks. But I think there's a value, it sounds like, in promoting the ones that need the most help, or you have the most empty potential space. So we're going to deliver on these 2, but just know we've been talking to, maybe it's a combination, right? So I think there's a strong story in your business parks. And I can think in your role as an economic development director, you go in front of a company and say, look, we've invested in these business parks, or these are strong, a number of these are strongly performing parks. Look at us. Oh, by the way, here's 2 that are most unique, most opportunistic for you. Something like that. So it might be a mix of the 2, but we think there's actually a strong story there. We're developing a map that shows all 5 and so on, so there'll be a way we can do that. But we're going to work with John again on these final touches here. This is the one that's probably least far along, but you'll see, so we'll work on that.
Is that going to be editable so the availability incentives can be updated without having to go back to call collector?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. We will, yes. So they will be delivered. I'm trying to think of what format. I'm going to make that note, because I understand I've had the same issue when I was in South Milwaukee and other places, like in Miller Quarters when I was there for a long time. It's like, don't hand it off, walk away, and every time we need a single word change, we got to do it. So we will, yes, that will be our goal. If we can't
hand them out with X's over spaces that have been
X's,
rented.
or like, if you change them with to an I don't want to, you don't have to come spend $100 to do that. Right? I understand. I've been in that situation personally, so I will take that note back. But they're, yes, so thank you for that.
For my information, where is a Loomis Business Park?
Sean?
It's where the Strauss facility was going to be located,
Oh,
and now
there.
that's Cellco Verizon.
All right.
But there's going to be, and they've started to build. There's going to be an entrepreneurial business park there, where startup businesses and small businesses can operate.
Cool.
Okay.
So that's called Rise, and that's being developed by the Bear Development folks, and so that's going to locate there. And then there are still a couple of lots there that are available
Okay.
for light industrial and commercial use.
Okay. Thanks.
Brand new
Yes,
investment.
that's why.
So
I guess that's why I didn't know where it was.
that's why they need to be promoted.
Yes, they do.
100% right.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
just taking some notes. So again, least far along, now let's get to the stuff that is farther along. And I don't have on the website piece, this is only a sampling. You're going to get a lot. Now we're trying to make this, so the whole idea of this was to make it really actionable, and somebody we could hand to someone that we know whose day job is to just update the website. So we did do quite a bit though. We did an audit, significantly audited with our firm in Kansas City, which is our parent company, and as it has a team devoted to websites, and covered some good data information and some recommendations that we'll bring through into the actual recommendations of the content. These are a sampling of those. I think if I had to summarize this, there's a lot to be done here. You've got a limited framework within to do it, so ideally, right, you're relaunching the City of Franklin website, to be honest. You can look at it and see it. So we're trying to work within that framework. Bring it up to date, for sure. That's the biggest thing. Make sure it's up to date, because it's not right now. In a number of ways, it's just not. It has old information, old links, broken links. So 404 pages, that's a broken link. Some of those things is cleaned up already as we've gone through this, but so the recommendations we have, bring it up to date, and also we think organize it better. So what I'm going to show you now is kind of our suggested organization. And I think one other point too is that we're encouraging that the content be pretty static. It sounds great to have changing editorial on your website until you have to change the editorial. Business of the week, news headline. It's static websites to me are built, or unless you're going to seriously have a commitment to update it. And I would suggest that's not even the best place to do it, to have share up-to-date information. You have to be up to date, but to share breaking information and consistently changing information. So we're going to get up to a point that makes sense. We think that's sustainable. That with minimal updates going forward, it will still be valid a year from now. So, but we'd suggest you continue to obviously look at it, update it, change things as needed. But right now, one thing we found is there's still too much information that was naturally going to get old quickly, and it did.
So as close to evergreen as possible.
Absolutely. I think that's just the best way to do it. Websites aren't the best place to share. I was in an environment for a long time where that was the focus, but people aren't going to website expecting that changing information. So I think this is thinking I've had for a long time. I think of it like the encyclopedia. That does change, of course, over time, but it's not every day, it's not every week, it's not every month necessarily, even quarter, but you're constantly monitoring. Top landing page, it's kind of hard to see. Industrial parks actually came out high here, ballpark comments, economic development. Again, there's a ton of data like this. I won't dwell on it. And honestly, I don't think it's even necessarily ties directly to what we're suggesting. Because the ballpark comments page, you'll see we're suggesting you remove. I'll explain in a second. The big thing is we think we're going to provide the most input around, well, the assets. I showed you the pictures, the charts, everything you see in the economic development guide I hand you in a second. All that's the content's going to be very much similar because by design. We also have that stuff to put on a website if you want to. So you can take an image, drop it in there, and you should. So there's ways you can work within your framework, as limited as it is, to make it look better, be more friendly to a viewer using the stuff we're going to give you. But words matter, and organization really matters. So here's your current drop-down menu. Here's other pages. So when you hover over that business section, that's what happens. What we're suggesting is clean it up a bit. Like this becomes the new page, which with new content, which we'll be suggesting. I don't have it here to show you, but we'll be sending to John. Condensing this a bit. Again, thinking through a user, how they go to this is okay. Well, why would I want to come here? Okay. Well, what is it? Now I'm a little bit interested. What does that mean? Well, here's what I have to do. So we're suggesting a little bit more intuitive drop-down way, a little bit more intuitive navigation for a user.
But that's out of the business drop-down.
So if we hover over business going forward, we're suggesting it be this. So you'd have 4 pages, and then this would fly out. When you hover over this, these would fly out. Or somehow, but these will be all represented in the drop-down. We call it a flyout, but yeah, it's so basically a second level flyout. You see it on websites a lot. Okay. So I mean, one-click access to all of this.
Is there anybody else's website that you're using as kind of a template for this?
Question? No. I mean, stuff. It's my experience. It's our experience in Kansas City. It's just the work we've done so far with the city, and this. Honestly, I mean, I think this will put you in not a ton of places that have it like this. I think what you're going to see here, communities like Franklin aren't as. You're going to have something pretty cutting edge, I think.
Okay.
So, and South Milwaukee didn't have what I'm about to hand you. Didn't have a thinking like this when it came to organizing a business, economic development focused content. It's there, but it's not like this. So to answer your question, not really, but yes. And a lot of big. It's informed by decades of experience, but not as specific models.
And flyout's kind of the trend right now, at least in like tech-based sites.
Yeah, right. So that's the thing is like right now as we sit here, we're going to recommend. I hover over business, these 4 things come down, and when I hover over that, those pop up. So one-click access. Or it could be, ideally, like there's another way to do it, right, where you've seen if you hover over the top, all these things come out. Again, that's a question of what your webmaster can do. I mean, I think as you redesign a website, you may want to think about that. That you can literally hover over, you can have a ton of flyout menus and different menus if you want. But here we're saying the business hovers over these drop down and then these 3 drop out from there.
It's more of a drill down approach.
Yeah, I mean, I can actually show you the
Because
site, but you can understand.
for a city website, it's a much different context than an economic development corporation or a regional economic development corporation or a state. And so you need to go and look at the city's website and you begin to understand, there are going to be constraints based on our format. So it's going to be a very data-based or information-based and less marketing, but we still should make it attractive. So,
There's some things you can do in there too.
And the city is going to have to download this stuff, and so they're not, we're not going to be totally in charge of, what the underlying software is. We have to be able to integrate into that. So that's why it's going to look a little bit more perfunctory than it is promotional. So, and that's the reason why, because it's a city website. It's not.
But ideally,
It's
the
not the
city moves to
Shameless
that.
division.
But ideally, the city moves. A lot of places have. I think Franklin is behind on its city website. I mean, there's some actually really good template websites out there.
Yeah.
When I was in South Milwaukee, we used the GovHR template, and I, as a communications guy for decades, was like, God, templates, they suck. Well, there's a reason they work. The reason that hundreds of communities use them is because they actually aren't that bad. Actually, so we go to like the city. A lot of cities have that kind of feel. I think, frankly, if you get there, it actually is promotional. It's kind of beautiful. It's easy to find information. All of that, I think you can get there, but it's what kind of a middle ground, if you will.
So you say we're going to delete the current business page? There's nothing on there with.
Well, there is. I can. So it's basically. Well, you'll see. It's actually content that. I'm not sharing this. Hold on a second. I can show you. Screen share. Stop sharing. You just share my desktop. It's part of the problem with the business page is it has this content that is old.
Okay.
So again, spotlights are great if you're going to really commit to doing it and promote. And importantly, not just put it here, but promote it in 6 other ways, via email, via whatever, with Facebook. So again, changing content is terrific if you're committed to doing it, and more importantly, not just put it here, but then lift it up. I say it this way. Click here is an incredibly important word. The most important word there is not the click, it's the here. This is the here if you're going to commit to updating it. The here's got to go somewhere. And in this, I could have a long discussion about the demise of content generators and media and whatever. Like, I don't know where the here goes half the time anymore. So you want to be a single source of truth that's current, updated, and you're viewed that way. So unless you're going to commit to it, don't do it. So this gets rid of business, really. It doesn't. I don't think you lose anything. Everything is still there. So one other point on the web. Not this exactly, but close. This will carry through to every page. There will be links on every page. That's why I didn't note this in here as much, but there will be static set of updated links. So if I'm on one page, I can quickly get to another. I can contact John, things like that.
Is this current, that page?
This is what's up there currently. Yeah.
So we still have November of 23.
Yes.
3, 4 months.
So here's the current. I showed you the current drop down.
Yeah.
I mean, I can show you. I mean, like ballpark comments. We're suggesting you delete this page because this was pertinent and important when this was being significantly developed. Now, if I Google ballpark comments, I want to go to the ballpark comments page. It quickly comes up in a Google search to come here and like, what is this? This is not updated as much. It's not. I'm sure ballpark comments doesn't want to have you guys be at the top of their search either, right? So to me, like, it has good information potentially, but it was more of a timeliness thing. I think to me, when this was being debated and you needed this. That's one thing. I think Ballpark Comments does a great job promoting itself. You don't need to be in that business.
Well, but the development phase is done.
Exactly.
And so now it
and
should
I don't
be,
want to talk about crossover runs anyway. So
and it should be on the tourism.
Well,
it should be on the tourism page, which is Engage
Yep.
Franklin.
Yeah, or at least linking out to it, right? Again, the here
Right.
matters. Click here. Don't
Right.
recreate it.
Yeah.
Go to somewhere
Exactly.
else that has it, and they have a great website.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about the webmaster. Who is our
Yeah, who is-
webmaster?
we did have a meeting with her. Who was it?
Is
Lisa
that-
Huning.
Lisa, yes.
Lisa still does
Lisa
all
Huning.
that.
She's the administrative assistant.
One of many hats, I'm assuming.
Uh-huh, yes, too many hats.
So
Yeah.
before we just jump off Ballpark, are we going to have any mention of him?
Yes, I think you'll see when I hand you. Yes, we're referenced as a success story, images. Oh yeah, you will know Ballpark Comments is part of a development success story.
Well, but I mean, so will there be such a thing like a link? So if you did the drop down,
It'll be engaged.
we have all these various different things.
You can go
Ballpark
back.
Comments should be somewhere there, as well as a link to it, or even pictures.
Okay. I'm suggesting not. I mean, I obviously I'm suggesting it's not. I think the Ballpark Comments
How do you
page.
maintain that it's something attractive for a business community to come into and have this available for the people, the residents? How do you communicate that off our page?
Oh, so no, I think in the new suggestion, the Why Choose Franklin, this is not updated. This is your current Why Choose Franklin. This will be like the hub, right?
Okay.
So it'll probably have a picture of Ballpark Commons in here. It'll have or it'll feel like, hey, this is a place I want to be at. So Ballpark Commons being part of the larger story. Oh no, I mean Ballpark Commons is part of it. We're suggesting not to pretend to be the Ballpark Commons website and or share information that's 6 years old about the controversy that existed when it was being built.
Yeah, no controversy. We don't need a 6-year-old.
Right.
But okay, I guess I'm not agreeing with you.
Okay, well, let's find.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me that I know people come here just to go do that. I mean, we don't have a retail center, any of that kind of stuff, so it's kind of like okay.
Well, I think this will answer. So let me show you the guide in a second, which definitely dials up ballpark. I think this will hopefully answer your question. Again, you can have a page to go to, or just have the promise of like you need to dial it up. No, it's a huge part of the selling story, right? Because it's a big success story for the city of making an investment. I know it's not been easy to get there. It's still controversial to a point, but that investment is paid off. You got to tell that story. We tell it. We suggest you tell it on the site in the guide. You'll see in a second. So we just don't suggest you have a specific page just to that, especially that single page, which is clearly meant more to tell the while it's being developed story.
Well, I agree that page doesn't work, but I think they got a lot of stuff up there.
Oh, they do. Oh,
and it's kind of like not to tout that a little bit. It seems like a miss here from our standpoint,
Sure.
Which is I think we should take credit for it.
100%. So I'll make a note of that in the content we deliver that it's clearly a big, if not the biggest success story. And I agree. It's something you should be proud of. So lastly on this part, then I think we'll move on to the guide, which will hand you. There's a couple things that you just keep here. These 3 static pages. Economic development is a department. So it should basically, we're suggesting almost stay the same. Just to align with the others. So again, take it out, outdated content. But again, we suggest you have this is not what I wanted. We should actually, we're going to take it back. We want economic development to be a similar staff page to other staff pages. So this is not what we want it to be, but we need to have an economic development page because it should be like this, we think. Now it's boring. It's not going to be the place people go, but it needs to feel like everyone else.
So
it doesn't yet.
What do we now? And what do you say?
What I just clicked on was what you have now.
Yeah, go ahead, hit it again.
Again, it's telling the story of Franklin, which we think will be told better in the business section as a drop down why Franklin. All this will go there. This page would actually just align with what health looks like. Again,
So
kind of boring.
It would say why we're in business and we're here to promote it.
Yeah, I mean
it'll be our mission statement.
Pretty much, and that's kind of how the rest. I don't think economic development in this function should be any different than any other function. So that's what we're suggesting there. The story will be told. We don't.
It's just a
suggest it be
department
told
reference page.
there.
That's all these are.
It's the most static of static pages. The same with the Economic Development Commission, which is actually we think shouldn't change at all. This is your current page. Again, it's like every commission and board should have this page, and it talks about how we reform, what our duties are, and who our members are, and here's our minutes. So again, this stays, but it is. We consider economic development content. This is one we're not really going to touch. Because again, it aligns with every other page like it.
And it's the public reference point. I mean, this is where the public finds records
Yep.
for the whole city.
That's where, when's the next meeting? When is that term up? I might want to run for that or go for that. Or when is the minutes of the last meeting? That kind of thing. So there are certain things that need to be promotional, which I'll hand you right now, and some that just need to be like truly the encyclopedia, like
Reference.
the reference. Piece. So we're suggesting a lot of those stay and or be changed to do that encyclopedia.
And then would there be links then within that page to other
100%. Yeah.
information?
If you're a business looking for information, here, or on the right side, it'd be very linkable. And,
Okay.
And you would get from one to the other. But
Excellent.
but basically saying, don't go here for this, go here.
So where are we going to put our strategic plan?
That would go, I would suggest, on the commission page and linkable from the economic development staff page. I would suggest that'd be a great place for that. It would linkable other places, but it would live in that area. It would be defined in that economic development commission mission, vision, and here's our mission, our current plan, et cetera. All right, here is the last piece. Let me take one. This is basically the content that's going to should be enough for everybody here. If it's 6.
You did good. Thanks.
So I'm gonna close the meeting. Before you wait, don't turn any page.
Hold on, yeah, right. We're not gonna.
All right.
Slap my hand.
I'll call up my screen too. But the idea here is that a lot of the content you see here, images, charts, it's all available for the website. So we'll make this available in a drive. The assets will be there. But also the content, the words will be very similar, if not the same in some areas of this. So let me go through this, if you don't mind. I need to call this up here. Where am I getting this from? Oh, please. you my some other stuff you got. All right. So I'll just go through this. We love, so what would happen on the front and back, you open it up, it'd be the same photo spread across. So think of it opening like not stapled, but think of it like opening like a book. So I probably should have done like a book. That's really how it's going to be done. So you open the front, back. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's obviously the business part, and we think a great way to show it that the shiny is just really. I think it's, and we focus in on that specific area.
So in other words, these images are reflecting from.
Well, these are actually no. This is one photo, I believe. I mean, this is literally one photo.
I see. It's one photo.
Yeah, it just looks like it's a cool photo, right? Like.
But this is all reflections.
Yeah,
right?
yep. Right. So it's all one photo.
I'm starting to figure out what that was.
It's 51st Street or Ryan Road. So
okay.
The 51st Road.
It's Ashland.
There we are. But so. Then a note from the mayor. Again, this is all, so I should point out, I mean, this is all going to be still negotiated with John and delivered to John for his final feedback. But we want your feedback now. If we have any directional feedback, let's get it now. Because the idea is we're going to deliver this to John the next couple weeks and then essentially be done with it. So, but now's the time, I think, if you have direction, because this is important for the rest of the work we're doing. A note from the mayor. Again, we'll make sure that he's entirely comfortable with this, but we think it's important. So this is page 2 as you open it up, all right? So you're looking at it now like this. This is where we think some basic data points. We can change these, but we think kind of a snapshot. If you load to, we have QR codes throughout. So if you want more information, if you're reading a print copy of this, or you're on a computer, you can hold your phone up and go look at it in the QR code as well. So this will take you to the Census Bureau's Community Spotlight snapshot page. Page 3 would be.
Let's go back just a second.
Yeah, of course.
So this is static as opposed to, it appears to me that we've been doing well. This does not demonstrate we're growing in household or income or any of those things.
You will see that come through very loud and clear in the next few pages. This is meant to be a snapshot in time, but we could certainly show a progress here. But I think if you look at it this way, that will be page 2, the mayor letter, and then here's some facts, data points. But the story, to your point, starts right on it hits you in the face on page 3. So you open it up, here it is. We suggest you tell the story in this way. Each of these headlines come to life on pages that come. So there's different sections now devoted to location, room growth, workforce, etc. that show a very compelling story for Franklin. We could show it there too if you want. So this is what feedback I wanted.
Well, I'd like it up front, the fact that, hey, start off strong, that we're winning, whatever winning is, but I'm just simply saying, give us our highlights. These are nice static things, but so what? As compared to who? It seems like we've grown in people, yes?
Oh yeah, you'll see that.
Okay, yeah, but I'm not going to get there. I'm going to get to 2 pages and never go to the next.
Like that's kind of almost like a table of contents there is what you're using it as.
So show the mayor message, show the winning story. Like
Yeah,
the
success.
summary.
Yeah, in fact,
which will come to life later in the guide if you want to go there. But okay.
in a way, it's almost, what would he want to brag about?
Self.
Yeah, but yeah.
Are we not? We're not going to put Northwestern Mutual right there.
No, I was going to say, what are they doing here? That's not a
They're
success.
still there.
Yeah.
That's the point we need here. Like, so we got pictures of them. They're still around for a number of years, right? But no, I get it. I mean,
Here's-
and the
here's
building
the
will
thing.
stay.
That's the thing to remember. And I guess, do we even need the names by
No.
what we're looking at?
Sure, we do. But I mean, I
Well-
would be hesitant about putting Northwestern
But
Mutual
I
up
mean,
there.
if you take a look at the business park, you know it's an industrial park. You see Northwestern Mutual,
You can take the name
It's
off.
a
it.
you
big
see an
building.
amazing building. That's the point. And the good news is
Northwestern
it's
Mutual
still
campus,
available.
maybe?
Well, why not just use the building? Because that building's not moving. It's going to stay there. It will be something
It'll
else.
just be somebody else.
And it
Somebody
gives
else.
us an opportunity to market it. So
Yeah.
someone has
This is
this in their
available.
hand and says, "This is a pretty cool building." I said,
Yeah.
"You're right. Would you like to be in it?"
Yes.
So, I'm sorry, why did they leave? Would be my question. Oh, it's
COVID.
available.
They-
Why did they leave?
COVID.
Because we outgrew them.
And the other reason
They
is
moved downtown, didn't
because initially
You
this
can't
building.
market
I'm just
if you're
saying,
gonna
that's
hide
what I
it,
would-
Steve.
Yeah,
This
Hey,
building
how do
was
you-
built out here because it was on a separate electrical grid. And they built it here because if there was some major problem with downtown, bombs exploded or whatever, nothing would be lost because they had a major computer's presence here.
Right.
That is no longer the case with the cloud. They don't need to have be on a separate grid. And they want to have a presence downtown and don't need this space anymore for that reason.
Okay, did that sell you? Because it wouldn't sell me.
What, for moving?
Selling what? Who the hell?
Well, why'd they left?
Because they don't need to be out here any longer. They have enough space downtown to handle these
Building is
employees.
just gonna join their portfolio of buildings.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't like the only buildings they have.
Yeah, their real estate people know
I
what
get
they're
you, but we're
doing.
highlighting somebody who left us.
But we're highlighting somebody who
We're
chose
highlighting a
us at the
building.
same time.
We're not highlighting a company, we're highlighting
Well,
a
I think
building.
taking the name off, I think to me does solve that. In that,
Yeah, just
yes,
take
if
it
you
off.
probe on the building, you could get there. But I think the success. I would suggest the success story is the investment the city made to build this beautiful building. That, by the way, is available or will be.
Mhm.
But yeah, I agree. You don't invite the question by putting Northwestern Mutual up there when you in 2 years you're not going to celebrate that at all. Is it 2 years, John? 3 years? I don't even know what the time frame is.
It's gonna be 2 years from now.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, again, we have other photo options too. So you can, if you want a different photo, tell us. We'll just drop another one in there.
I think that's a
That's
very
a beautiful photo.
gorgeous
Yeah.
building, gorgeous
Take the
photo.
name off.
And there will be somebody who wants to have their business there. In fact, maybe many people.
But the story, we think this is the story. So again, this is where I'm going to ask you, like, if you feel this is not the story, these are coming to life in the next pages on the left here. Let's just go through. Yeah.
Can you actually go back to the inside cover? The diverse population thing bothers me a little bit. How is that like in line with national averages? Because to me that says we're 71.3% non-diverse.
I think actually what surprised me how diverse you are, but it was surprising to me. I expected. I think it's South Milwaukee actually. I think would probably. I'm not sure it would stack up to 19.7. I was actually surprised at the Asian population. So it's surprising. Again, I think by hearing the feedback though of making this more about a success representation versus like a static number. I think we'll still have the static number. Maybe as a QR code or something like here. Click here for the current snapshot. But here's like a better success.
And that would be like
Summary.
current market census.
Yeah, so it's the current 2021 snapshot or whatever it is. Yeah, so I hear you, and we're trying to think of what would I want to know. What are the highlights? You want to know about population, obviously, but again, I think it actually it will be better and easier to tell that success
What
story than choosing the right
about
one.
our, I don't know, just a shot. We're 19.7% diverse. A few years ago, we were nothing but rural. And to make that kind of a jump in those few years, I think is
progress.
commendable. And the way I see my district changing right now, and the diversity within my district, is new homes coming in, it's becoming more and more diverse every day.
Mhm.
And I think
Same
that,
with a lot of cities, myself, Milwaukee, yeah.
but from what we were, I mean, South Milwaukee played football against Oak Creek a few years ago because no one else would. They were just starting a football team, so I mean, it was like
Fair.
we made a lot of progress, and that's because of who we are.
Well, I think to your question, John did a terrific job at the gala of all the things that has happened from a standpoint of economic development. So those, I would just steal his slides and find out his story and see which ones he wants to put in there.
There you go.
Because there's been a lot.
Mayor John.
Yeah.
Can we get those slides? I'd like to. Yeah, it'd be great to make sure, and even tailor his message.
Yeah.
To exact. Yeah.
I mean, he's got a story. And especially since we're talking this is economic development, it should be consistent.
So we'll
with
make
what he
sure
said.
that his text represents. If we can get that, so that would be great. I did not make the gala, but I look forward to seeing that story.
Okay.
Here's the proof points we think, and they're impressive, and they're all very demonstrable. Location, obviously, and room to grow. So, maps that show proximity to cities and transportation. We're improving this. This will be a bit easier to read. As well as the business parks piece. But again, we think that's part of the story, a big part of the story, and this was in order. This is we went working with John, like what are the 1 through 8, let's rank these. This is where your feedback would be, please. So we think location obviously is a big one. Room to grow is a big one. And this is where we'll connect this document to the website and vice versa, right? So this QR code will take you to the Business Industrial Parks page on the website, for instance. We think workforce is a big one. This is a little bit more work in progress, but we want to show in this one, this is probably the most work in progress we think of all the pages. Something that shows a regional snapshot, as well as the educational piece we think is a big part of it. And we also did talk with, we talked with, this will be a picture from Franklin High School. We talked with their workforce coordinator, I'm not sure who exactly it was, but a colleague of mine spoke with them, got that story. We'll link to something there. But we think the workforce story is a strong one. The education story is a really strong one, all as one. So here we're showing off, that we're a skilled workforce. We have access to others. We also have, all these colleges and universities close by. We've got strong local schools as well doing good things. So public infrastructure and services is, we think, important. There's another part of this that talks a little bit about cost. So we put this together. This is where we're working a little bit work in progress, but we think on the cost piece, we want to tell. This is where I need your help, John. It's the connecting, at least with water, wastewater. What's the 2-sentence story about why I want to bring my business here from a water, wastewater affordability standpoint? Same with We Energies. We've been struggling to find what that stat is, but we know they have stats. There has been stats. Maybe it's not a favorable story. We'll take it out, but and it's lies, data and statistics, but it's a favorable stat. They frame it in a way that's affordable. We Energies for it. So we want to show the cost story. We also think that the tax story is really strong. And frankly, that's just pure data this is from the municipal data tool from the Public Policy Forum. So that comes through in this chart. I think we needed probably a stronger headline on page that in the cost piece, like what they're looking at there. Like Franklin, third lowest, but
I'd
I think we want to,
also maybe have a huge arrow or something pointing to Franklin, because where's Franklin in here?
Exactly. Yeah, we need to make that clear.
Make it more clear and obvious. Yes.
There's a better. We got to tell the story, hit them over the head with it. Here's the story in a chart, but here's the headline of the story.
Right.
Barb, I agree with you. I mean, I was looking for
Yeah,
there
where
it
is
is. Yeah, circle it or something.
That hits me in the head when I look at it right now. Actually,
I actually went, of course, it's going to be on the lower end because otherwise we wouldn't put that chart in there.
100% right.
Exactly.
But it's a good story.
And you need the city utilities costs.
Well, we would like in a perfect world right here. I mean, we would love to have our water, wastewater rates,
Right.
MMSD, and our local water treat whatever,
Right.
are
No,
20% or 10% lower than the Midwest average. Same with We Energies. Again, ideally, if that doesn't exist and we can't easily get it, and we're having trouble getting some of that,
well,
that's fine. But ideally, that's what we're trying to get to. It's like, hey, come here. Your taxes are low, and by the way, your water, wastewater fees are low, and your
I
energy.
just need to know who I get a hold of.
So that's where
do I need to get a hold
this
of
is-
We Energies? But we'll work
And
on
we've
it.
done some of that. We certainly the water, wastewater, at least the water piece would be helpful.
No, we'll get it all.
MMSD, but let's work through
All three of them.
And that would be really helpful because I think there is a quick bullet point story there that would show like, oh yeah, that's nice. I'll move there. Cheaper than Chicago.
Well, your subhead there says Franklin is the third lowest. That's so light, I missed it. You see it?
Yeah, under their county tax rates by city, which actually should be by school district, not by city.
My city school
And
district.
Franklin
yeah.
is the lowest 3 because it's all unified districts.
Yeah, we'll be very clear on that. Okay.
But I definitely agree with Steve that Franklin is third lowest.
I
Needs
missed
to
it.
stand out a little more.
Got it. Okay. But yeah, that's if you haven't used that, Google it sometime. Wisconsin Policy Forum Municipal Data Tool. I use it a ton in South Milwaukee. It told a pretty favorable story. It tells a very favorable story for Franklin.
Yeah.
and it's updated. It's data you can trust from a knowledgeable source. It's very sortable. So it's fun for hours for all you data wonks out there. So.
It's got really cool pivot tables.
So this is where we get into incentives and partners. Again, we talk about telling the ballpark common story. This is one where place will show it. Here we want to tell a couple things. We want to show that we have partners in the fight to help you. We also bring our own. We put our money where our mouth is with our TIF districts, and we've also got some great success stories. Here are 3 of them, and. So these are the 3 we wanted. We suggest telling. There's obviously many more, but we think we like these because they're different. They're very different stories, and kind of how Franklin has helped. So these can be swapped out, updated, etc. over time as new ones come on board. But we think these are 3 that will also we're suggesting be brought to life on the website too. Again, a lot of this stuff we think comes to life on the website. So there'll be a ballpark commons picture. And it slides over, and here comes the Carmex picture. Here comes with the quick information. So we think this will come through very much on the website as much as you're capable in doing that. So,
insofar as the pictures, the drone picture, the ballpark commons, I think you can do a better ballpark commons picture.
Yeah, we didn't get. Yes, I will make a note of that. That is actually not from our drone photographer, I don't believe.
Yeah, that's from Ballpark's website.
Yeah. So. This is 2. We're going to make sure we deliver this to you guys that all the permissions are there, etc. That was one indeed from the website. But yeah, we will make a note of that about having a better photo. Do us actually have some ballpark comments.
That actually might be from me and the former mayor out with a drone, getting pictures of it. The focus turned out okay, but
good photo.
Yeah.
The composition may not be the best.
I think some of this we need to make a connection with a couple of these entities and just say send us your best stuff.
I think the Carmex photo also, that could have been any assembly line other than the name on the guy's back.
Which
or
looks like it was
woman's
photoshopped on, so just
Yeah,
Actually, it
that's
does.
true.
But
So,
it's not. But
no.
yeah.
Okay, so
I
we'll
don't know.
pay attention to the photos
See-
better on this part. Yes.
I can help you with that. If you have photos of a line, that composition would be the same, but you'd be on a line that has a lot of the red caps going by.
Right.
The little containers.
Yeah.
Good feedback. This is the feedback we want. So we can track down some of this by just working through Karma Labs. They may have actually sent us this one, but I will. We may have others. I can't remember, but yeah, we want to tell success stories here and show that we're also have partners to be in it with you together. Next is the growth story. Again, a really strong part of what we're doing here. A few fill in the blank spots here, but this is our drone. This actually came from Lux. No, take it back. This is our photo, but we want to identify what you're looking at. So some of these photos do have IDs, but they're telling you like, what the hell is that? Oh, that's Lux Golfers. If they don't clearly identify what they are. So again, telling a story of growth in people, in property value, and in breakdown. So we think all those are strong, and again, pictures bring it to life.
Yeah.
Quality of life, a big one. Obviously, again, this is where ballpark comments, etc., comes in. I think this is a milkman photo again, so we're going to confirm that we can use. I think we got permission this one, but again, this is not our photos. I was taken at the time we were taking our photos when they weren't playing. But again, we want to make sure that you understand, you agree with the proof points.
Yep.
So milkman, and then look at our wonderful parks. Look at our soccer club as an example. Look at our events, etc. But we just think it's a really strong story, and we bring it to life here with some photos.
Under quality of life kind of consideration, I don't know. To me, that I hear everybody's talking about the quality of our schools as being, in addition, a factor to the quality of life.
Yeah.
Our school system and the quality of our schools. And I think one other thing too is that the availability of good medical kind of situations here in Franklin and the greater Milwaukee area also adds to the quality of life. Besides, and then the recreational trails, obviously.
That's a good point. Remember, education comes to life here, but it doesn't mean we can't there as well. Certainly through text, so maybe a quality of life picture includes a picture of a football game or somebody that shows a school.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's do more than sports.
I'm a sports guy.
Yeah.
Sorry
Maybe
about
that's
that,
where you're working the medical.
But I mean,
But I hear
that's
you.
what's,
I mean,
that's what's gonna get people here.
Yep.
Because they're looking beyond just putting a plant here, they're looking at,
Where their kids are going to school.
Good call. No, we'll note that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is the kind of feedback we want, so.
If you go back to your employment change by industry,
Yeah,
is there any rhyme or reason as to why you have construction first?
that's just a chart. That's just a chart. It's alphabetical by type of
order.
industry, I think. So.
No,
That-
I got you, but I mean, I'm looking for the story. Are you?
Yeah, this is the one that's most work in progress. We're going back and forth on this one about what to show about workforce. We settled on education being a big part of that. We settled on telling the school story as well. This is where we want to tell a regional story about.
What I'm
Yeah.
specifically saying on the chart, you got 11,298, followed by education at 137, then to
Yeah.
29, then
Yep.
to 8.
Yeah,
It could go either ascending, descending, or change.
Maybe we need to just completely rework that to show
I'm just,
top
you know-
industries or something, maybe or.
No, I'm okay with it. I just have a story which says, who's winning, who's losing. But education lost 83, manufacturing lost 1,118. It just seems like a thrown out there list.
It kind of is. I mean, that's where I say this is the one that needs the most massaging, if you will, because again, what's the story we're trying to tell? I think maybe it's a growth industry story, like in the region, right? And then for more data points, click. And there's a whole report. If you click on that QR code, there's a 2022. I can't remember the organization, but there's a report that's put out. It's that this came from. Maybe it's telling the growth.
We can look at the reports of it, but the story is, growing employment, which means more people working. That's the success story. And so there's a lot of data points in here in between, and we probably just need to collapse some of that.
Yeah,
To
those
try and
four
tell.
center columns really don't.
Yeah. It's usually portrayed as a 10-year
Yeah.
averages. It goes along with demographics.
Well, okay, so if
portrayed.
I look at the bottom, John, it says that we've lost 31,125
Over 2
jobs.
years, we don't like that.
over 2 years, but that's a COVID thing. Yeah, so
Okay, but
Yeah.
that's a good point. Yeah, so
and
let's
then
tell
we're
that
down
better.
6.4%.
Good point. Yeah, there's a good story there. We think we will dive deeper to get that story of employment.
Right.
And
Well,
to your point about
put it in the
number of
right
people working.
context.
Yeah.
The number of people working. Here's the industry. You could have those same data categories, but not the same data points. With a 2-year here. Because which 2 years? Well, it could have been during COVID. So let's maybe take a look at the 10 years and see if that doesn't
Well, this
help
does say
us.
2021. So if you said it was in 2023, you might get different numbers.
Yeah, and that is the most current one though. I think it's a 2023
Yeah,
year.
23 won't be available till later.
Yeah,
this
it's
year.
it's a lagging report. But, so I think but that reinforces the need to tell maybe a bigger longitudinal story. But
Right.
we will get that right. You're right. I think that was one we changed this page like 3 times. Trying to tell the best story. So
Yeah, it's employment by industry and just the numbers without the changes looks good.
Well, and like I say, if you have a different context, if you have a different frame of when you start measuring and when you get to current, because right now we're basically supposed to be back
right.
near 2019
This
levels.
doesn't say that.
No, but I mean, if you measured from 2010 till now, which would probably be the 2020 data census. So, and that's where you can get this data from the Census Bureau, or you can get it from the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
And so we've got education and health services. So that means the schools as in the teachers, and we're combining that with the doctors and nurses
Yeah,
for health
that's
services.
a weird data.
That's how they've always done it. This is the Bureau of Labor
It's this
Statistics,
BLS
and
report.
Yeah, it's the National Classification System.
It's
It's
just,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, they've lumped them together, which is weird, I think.
you didn't think we went and created this.
Well, no,
system,
no,
did you?
I'm wondering, well, but is there any way to break it out? I mean, do we have?
Yeah.
I mean, earlier we said we have a lot of healthcare here. I think that's a good number. I'd be interested in that.
Yeah, I think I think there's data that supports all this if we find the right source, so we'll do a deeper dive on that.
About the column there about education.
I'll bet, yeah, sure.
You've got the Franklin School District with a QR code. But you mentioned the Oak Creek Franklin Joint School District, which is just a portion of Franklin.
Very small portion
A
of
very,
the
yes.
district. Yeah.
So I wouldn't,
I would just say Franklin School District,
I would think so too, and not mention Oak Creek Franklin.
because we also have a Greendale
I know you've got-
joint district.
Yeah, right.
Right.
That's what makes it complicated. You've got, 3 different
Go-
tax
Right.
agencies,
By
right?
far the
Yeah.
largest is
Yeah,
the
we
Franklin.
know
It's
Your
just
clerk,
Franklin.
loves that election time, I'm sure too.
Mhm.
No, I think that was the challenge, right? Is like you're not telling one school district story. You're truly trying to tell 3.
But the most important one to us is the Franklin School
Got it.
But if you just say Franklin Schools as opposed to Franklin School District, I think it lets it encompass all of them then.
And I
That's
just don't
true.
think the DPI breaks it out that way in the report card. That's the challenge.
Well, you
But-
take the best report card data and just say Franklin Schools.
Right, exactly.
okay.
And also, I'm not sure about saying how many residents have a high school diploma. I mean, that just, it's a nice number, but it
Substantially
just seems
above
like
average.
that's kind of expected. Let's put it that way. I'm not sure if I
think
want to
it wouldn't be if you
that.
put it in context with other communities, and it doesn't have that here. But,
right.
it is above. I mean, certainly in like
Like
bigger cities,
substantially
yeah,
above.
Yeah.
Milwaukee and some
I
others.
don't know. It doesn't
More
impress me.
industrialized
Let's put it that way.
Sure.
I don't know.
Okay. We'll
But-
take a closer look at this page again. And again, it's one that I mentioned it's the one we're
Yeah.
still kind of struggling with.
For the residents with a bachelor's degree or higher, no, that's okay. That's,
Right.
that's impressive, I think.
Going back to the growth story, here's where that's at. Quality of life. I took notes on that. Thank you for that.
Can I go back to your bachelor's degree?
Yeah.
Basically, it says that about 60% of our residents don't have a bachelor's degree.
Essentially, yeah.
Does that bother you?
No.
It doesn't me either. I think, yeah,
A plumber does not have to have a bachelor's degree.
I'm agreeing. I said so. I'm. It seems to me like you don't have to live here. You could be.
And to be successful.
Yes.
Kids are counted as residents, right?
Oh, is that what that is?
Well, I mean, factoring kids
Yeah.
and when you factor in,
Good question. I don't know.
people, you know.
I think it's adults with bachelor's degree or higher.
I think more than anything, that shows how much higher than the state and national average we are.
In
That's
comparison,
right, yeah.
sure.
That's
You have an
phenomenal.
educated workforce.
Right,
That's what
educated,
you're
but I
trying
also would. To me, it says we're not an uppity group of people, meaning 60% don't.
to get. Yeah. If it was 70% do.
Yeah, we're 80% of that
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
Oh,
it'd
a
be
bunch
like-
of dumb snobs. We can't live
Well,
here.
especially if you tell an employer that doesn't want white collar workers.
We don't need them.
Right, you
Yeah.
don't want people to work at in the assembly line of Carmex, and a high school diploma or a 2-year degree may be enough
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
For some entry level jobs. So. No, but thank you for the feedback. Again, this is stuff we wanted to hear, and we will tighten that up.
You might want to take a look at the percentage of Franklin seniors who go on to higher education. Because I think that's a pretty high number.
Oh yeah. I think the district might deliver by that.
High school seniors, okay.
I
was thinking I'm the same
thing.
Sorry, my mind only works with one group of seniors.
college?
Seniors going on to where?
Are you going on higher education?
Not to the bar, that's the bar. Sorry.
Well, I'm sure
High
that
school
that high school has that readily available.
Yeah.
They have some
and that's
really-
one you clearly want
They have
to
good
power.
numbers.
Well, but okay, so I've been, with the consortium before, and they actually, because so many go to college, this isn't a good place to recruit kids out of high school.
Fair.
That's a,
How do you say
To go
about
work in a non-college
Oh,
type job,
oh, sure.
and so the park is saying, well, we can't really recruit at Franklin because guess what? They're all going to college.
Mm-hmm.
We're better off going to West Dallas and some of these other places where they're more likely to come to us. So I don't know if that's a great stat.
Then there's affordable housing, there's also
Yeah.
transportation.
Yeah.
Our educational system our emphasizes both the advanced degrees as well as the trades and the worker, type thing. How do you say that?
Well, we think we're actually here, if you look at this actually will tell, it's Latin now, but this is actually.
We got a blend.
This
and
is
a
the
balance.
this is the
Yeah.
interview that we did last week with that will tell the skilled trades education story a little bit. There'll be a picture there.
Mhm.
I believe it's a picture of kids working in the trades, or that's the idea of it. Maybe you have a different version.
And it's
I do.
not Lorem Ipsum anymore either.
You have a different version. Good for you. Oh yeah, look at that. Perfect. So you've actually got this is updated. So good. Don't look at this. Look at what's in front of you. So yeah,
Now we
we,
can look
we
at
actually
it.
just did this. That's why. So the one I printed actually is the newer version. So, oh, okay. But it hasn't changed a lot. Other than that's the biggest change. So.
For an employer, we've got a good mix of balance of education versus trades or whatever we want to say there.
And this is the back. So again, this is the idea of that photo.
A pool of people that have varied backgrounds and educational levels.
We're gonna change this, John. We suggest that you have. We're gonna put an email here. We're gonna do. I don't know if fax is really needed. So we'll clean this up too. But I think URL, website link, etc. Again, if I don't even want to do any more than looking at the front and back cover, I can at least contact you or go to get more information on the click here. But a little bit of work in progress here on what information you put on the back cover. But I give you your economic development guide. I appreciate the feedback.
2 tabloids and a letter insert. This number of pages. If you're doing a poll.
It's 8 pages. There's a 10. It's a 10, I think. If you do a printing, I mean, we didn't. Is it 10 pages or 8? It's 10. Sorry,
Printed now like this, it's 10.
10. Yeah, it's 10. So we did not. We did 10 to support what we think is the story. In that way, it's up to you to print it. So it's not included in our estimate to provide printed copies. We can certainly connect you with printers, things like that. You've got plenty of connections with printers locally as well. But yeah, it would be that. I mean, it's going to live also online. It's going to live in a way that you can easily access it from a number of places, from the website, on your phone, etc. There will be a printed option if you want to make it so.
How will this be distributed?
That's I would look at him.
Can it be mailed as a,
You can, the whole context of this was, the whole objective
You can also
was to have something that could sit on the website,
Uh-huh.
but that could be printed off as a flyer as needed.
okay, so in other words, this piece,
So that's
because
what
then
I
you
can
need
hear
space
from
here
my
for
guy.
your, for
It's
mailing,
not ideal,
basically,
it's
if you wanted
ideal,
to.
yeah.
Just mail this as a piece
If you bind
Yeah,
it,
I-
if you-
But you don't intend-
I'd probably put that in envelopes.
with a cover letter or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we were gonna do something like that, if we we're gonna like put them out in a display, you know, you could, if there were gonna be any volume, we'd contract with somebody to print them out.
Okay.
Or if we have people coming to visit, we print up a dozen, you know, for a site visit, which is all you need at that
Sure.
point.
Throw the
Sure,
one sheets,
understand.
the 2 one
But-
sheets.
So there won't be any
There would
mass
12.
mailing.
No,
Not
no,
that
I
you
mean,
anticipate.
that stuff's all done electronically
Sure.
11, 12.
anymore.
Mhm.
And not even with attachments, it's, you know, email with links
Mhm.
that link to the website.
Well, good. We've got work to do, obviously, which we will get done here and deliver this. Thank you.
So 2 parts. One first, I think you did a nice job. You know, I think some tweaks, this and that, but as an overarching, I think you did great.
Thank you.
Timing, what kind of timing are we looking at?
Yeah, I'm thinking you'll have a couple weeks here. You'll have it substantially complete or complete.
Yeah.
So they can do with it. You know, you'll have all of the guys. We need to get this done, and we know that. So we're to take results of this meeting and get back to work and turn that over to John.
Would it be possible to put the colors in here instead of white?
Sure.
I'm not sure
Actually, like
graphically how it
you
would look.
use the colors throughout the
Right.
effect of the colors throughout.
We could try. Yeah, I mean,
But if you're gonna edit that, then take all these things out of the reflection there.
I think it's kind of cool.
It looks odd.
What are you pointing out? Yeah, I agree.
In the street signs, because it's reflecting on the key itself, it's like
Yeah.
curving really weird.
It's art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the design is really cool. I like how
Mhm.
it's a bleed across the two. I'm assuming it would be a bleed across the front and back and not forward.
Yeah.
We can. I'll look at the cover part. I will
That's right outside my old office. I actually used to love looking at that all day. It was fun.
Well, again, thank you for the opportunity. I think you had a second point you want to make. Did you?
Do what?
You have a second point you want to make? Thought it was no. But
Well, no,
I'll stop at good feedback.
Yeah, no, that worked with the chain and then timing, so those were the two. So,
And-
yeah, thank you.
No, absolutely. I think this will be something that you have that not many places your size, suburban communities, etc., have really sell to communities. So you'll be happy you went through this exercise and got a really nice product, but also went through the exercise of telling that story, and that as you help you going forward, as you tell that story in the world in other ways.
We're not there yet, but like in telling a story, is something like this ever a value, like at an airport or a metro station where they've got this thing going on where you'd be flashing City of Franklin and some stuff like that? I mean, is that the next step we might be looking at down the road for this, or?
Could
Probably
certainly
close that thing if you want to. Close that computer screen. I would suggest just close the screen. I think.
Do you know of how that would all fit in any way, or?
I guess they're still online.
I can tell you one thing. Visit Milwaukee used to have massive wall of all of these brochures, of all of these things that are going on in the whole area. They don't anymore.
No.
It's much diminished.
Yeah, and I would, print has a value. I still think I'm a little dinosaurs maybe, but I think print does have a value in the right context with the right audience at the right time. It's expensive.
And they do charge.
Absolutely, yeah, they charge for that space.
Yes, they do.
absolutely. I think how to use this. I think it's when you have a targeted outreach, when you have a meeting. I mean, you can leave some around here and there, but I think it's brought to life on the website, etc. You can, on other channels, you lift it up on social. Hey, check out this out. So there's ways you can bring it to life. I think it's probably best used as a proactive outreach tool and or reactive when someone's come to you. Say, hey, if you missed this here, but I hear you, because the problem with it putting 100 copies out at an airport or whatever is like, who's really taking that? And but that each one of those costs $8. I don't know how much per page, right? You could do $5.
You're looking at
$5.
$4.50, $5.
$5 for to do that. So I happily got those printed at Thai print, but it cost the 6 copies was $25, $30. So that's a pretty cheap provider. So let's just keep that in mind. It's like if you think of how to share this, cost will be.
The airports are doing things more electronic display boards anyways.
Yeah.
And so you can use parts of this, but that's where the the photo assets we have coming.
Well, yeah, you can have a beautiful picture of the fall foliage, whatever, and say, choose Franklin. Here's a QR code. I mean, that could be it. I mean, it takes you to that. So that's how you bring it to life in real life. I think more is like
just
remembering phones are the way people are getting information now. So catch their eye with something, maybe the beautiful images, a quick headline, and then boom. If you want to go that route.
So is it possible to transfer this into a one-pager?
It would
One
be,
page sell sheet?
yes, you have to pay us.
Yeah, I understand. But no, I mean, I'm just simply saying.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
This is not, I mean, you don't normally send this out. You send a one-page sell sheet.
Yes, I think that could be a nice evolution of that. I think you're right. I think one pagers are great, and for the context of the audience you're talking about too, that wants it in one page most likely is like, don't bore me with 10, give me one, give me half with one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could certainly be done and probably should be as a next step potentially. So yes, let's talk about it.
We'll wait for the finished product.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I know the student team that did this with our help of me and others. Appreciate the work. You're going to be happy with. You're happy now. I think you'll be happier with the finished product, and importantly, we'll use it to continue to kick ass in economic development in the city.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you,
buddy. How's the Marquette staff doing? How's the Marquette staff doing?
The staff at my office, great. Actually, we were just doing a video shoot before we left for some clergy success stories in Marquette. But no, it's been good. Students are, it's a great, boy, I was there 30 years ago. The students are smarter now. That maybe was-
Smarter than you are now.
Take care.
well, maybe not quite, but getting there. In some areas, yes.
They'll catch you.
Yeah, right.
Have a great night. Thank you for coming.
Thanks.
Well, I think what I'll do is
Well, let's watch Hulu for a while.
I'll just hit off. And then we'll have to worry about clicking on the Zoom.
Okay, so we're done with 7. Time for an economic development update.
Okay, let's see here. We have had a, and I guess we could go into
Getting a
closed session probably to do that, if you'd like.
All right,
Get a
yes.
little more detailed.
Yep.
All right.
So,
Do we have to read this first or make the motion
yes,
first?
if we're, well, on the agenda, we have strategic planning facilitation consultant first.
Okay.
As A, and then
Okay.
we have the current prospects. So would you like to follow that?
Sure, let's
Agenda?
do the agenda. Mhm.
All right, so we've sent you out the proposals from our two interested strategic planning consultants, and I guess the difference we're looking at is the cost and price, and I think $19,800 for CP2 Consulting. And basically what they're doing is we'll have a facilitated session, and then we'll have a couple of, workshops where, the facilitated planning session would be, with all the stakeholders, like the city council, this commission, probably the plan commission, and other entities that we would identify. And then to refine our goals and our objectives and our mission, we would have some workshops with this group and other key stakeholders that should be in that planning process. And the research before that would be surveys, electronic surveys, to do that information gathering. And then the Explorer folks had a minimum bid, let's see, I think it was like $40,000.
45,832.
Well, they had an alternative where they geared it back to 40,451 or 561, excuse me. And what that would have though is it would have a couple of sessions, and again then we'd have working meetings where we refine, but they would also have some follow up as well with some other groups, and so they have more meetings, and so that's part of what increases the pricing on it. So now, we're limiting this to about $30,000, but we're hoping to be lower than that, and the folks with CP2 came through within those price guidelines. I think if we added another, I think they have a focus group in there as well to work, and I think that's the two groups, the two meetings that we're talking about, where we have some working groups. But I think they would be willing to do a public session, probably for another $5,000 and add that, because it's more than just the meeting. You got to do the synthesizing of the information that comes from it. But to make a long story short, they stayed within the parameters of the RFP.
Where is CP2 based out of?
They are out of Illinois. Let's see here. Pull the cover letter in here. But yes, I think it's like near DeKalb. Is the location.
Okay. didn't find it on here anywhere.
Yeah, and they are, they're familiar with working with folks in northern Illinois and in Wisconsin. So, in Wisconsin.
And Explorer Solutions is based out of Plattsburgh, New York,
Yes,
and they've done most of their work in Canada.
a bit, and they've done work in northern UP. I think they've done work,
Yeah, they have their,
I thought, in Michigan.
uh,
In Michigan as well,
Yeah,
but
they-
Yes.
beyond the
Right.
UP, I guess. I don't know why I think of the UP as another state by itself, but
They kind of thinks they are too.
yeah, they are.
What do we have a budget for?
well, like I said, the budget that we set, I think, was $35,000, and like I said, we were trying to get that, in between 20 and 30. And that's initially where we started, and so but we had some more that we had available to us, and those dollars would come in handy if we realized those savings, because we have to figure out about where we're going to come up with $5,000 for the business appreciation celebration, because we have a budget cut in that from last year.
What is the background of the companies in terms of doing economic development, strategic planning?
They're both well versed in. They typically work with economic development corporations when they're doing strategic planning for economic development. But they've worked with multiple types. Each one of them has worked with multiple types of
Cities.
organizations,
Various
sizes, and organization, non-profit organizations as well. But they both would work with cities.
Is it possible to get a sample of what they've provided somebody?
I suppose we could get that. Yeah.
I mean, just see the product.
Sure.
I mean, we had the Green Bay one
Mhm.
from before, so I mean, it's not usually confidential. I mean, I don't see what
No,
they write.
no. I think they've both listed examples in their
Lots
curriculum
of-
vitae.
Yeah, they
the
listed, but I'd
places
love
they
to see
said.
the write-up, see what it looks like.
Well, you just go to their website and
Hmm.
pull up their strategic plan. But yeah, we can certainly ask.
That's true.
Mhm.
Do we have a deadline by which we would like to have this completed? Because we're already kind of,
Yeah, that's slid a lot.
yes, it
Um,
has.
So yeah, we were supposed to look at having it completed, December, January.
Mhm.
But we didn't get responses in the first RFP, and so I checked with some of the right scaled organizations. It seemed like they could help us, and these two out of that group were the ones that responded. Because they're more price effective, they were too busy, both of them,
Yeah.
to respond. So that's why we're soliciting them now.
And
So-
as far as we know, they're still willing to work
Right.
with us, as
Last-
far as we know.
Yeah, before the last meeting, they're still interested.
Okay.
And so I didn't reach out again after that.
So assuming they both have quality products,
Mhm.
I mean, at 20,000 versus 40, it's kind of a simple, decision
so.
at that point.
I also like the fact that one of them, CP2, is in the Midwest.
Yeah. Yeah.
They might just
Mhm.
understand the environment better.
And they're $20,000 less.
Yes, exactly.
And if the products are about the same, because the thinking is going to be, my guess, pretty similar,
Mhm.
whatever they come up to.
Mhm.
But are their products the same?
Well, that's the only issue. That's why I said I wanted to see
If you
it.
look at a breakdown of what they're providing, they're very much not the same product.
Yeah, there's more meetings, definitely more meetings and some more analysis that comes from folks with Explorer.
Mhm.
Like I
So
said,
does that mean it's better?
And isn't the difference the amount of focus groups? Isn't that what it was?
Right.
I can get a
More-
focus
more-
group to
more
tell me
focus-
anything I want.
More focus groups and more drill down and.
Yeah.
That was where I was going.
That's why, you know.
Like I say, we could have a second focus group in-person meeting with CP2, but like I say, it would probably only take it to like 25,000 at that point, but I mean, I think there's like 6 altogether. You know, they
Yeah.
have like 6 meetings and focus groups with Explorer.
Yep.
And we would be paying for transportation also.
Yeah.
From New York.
Yeah.
So,
It's pretty.
in my, yes,
Yeah.
if the product ends up looking pretty similar, I'm leaning very strongly to the $19,000 version.
Same here.
Okay.
Is Canada much different than the United States?
What did they say?
They're 18.4%.
You're a boot, you see.
Yeah.
Well, they
Have only
did,
10% the population.
Explorer has a lot of experience in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it started as a Canadian and a French company and got bought out 12 times.
Is that a different kind of a ballpark or different kind of a?
Well, I move that we accept CP2 Consulting for our strategic planning.
Well,
Second it.
because I kind of wanted to look at their product first.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do it for 600. See, the pricing can't be the consideration. We have to know what the deliverables actually are, how they're gonna do it, because that's a big price difference, and it's so big of a price difference, you gotta wonder that they're not delivering anywhere near the same product in the end.
Well, if you factor out the fact that they're running a number of focus groups and we're paying for travel, and yeah, it's a big chunk of the extra amount is.
Is the travel extra for Explorer? Because it's included in the C2P one, it says. Travel costs are included in this proposal for services as proposed.
Well, that's a factor, that's for sure.
Well,
I don't
to your
think she
point, you
breaks
wanna
it
see the
out.
product, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I guess for the moment, we could probably throw it up on the screen here. I mean, we can make a decision and be done. Can you pull it up?
Given the factors that they have to factor in, the travel, everything else like Tim's saying, that would put their costs higher all the way around as opposed to the Myers, which is a local, and I think they'd have a better understanding of what the local economic variables are as opposed to someone who's primarily been up in Canada. So I'm inclined to, like I said, the money, but you have to look at to see what they're doing, what they're giving us.
Yeah, if we can, I mean, if we can throw it up right now and it looks,
Inclusive of all labor, materials, administration, and disbursements. So I think that would mean their travel is included as well.
The travel wouldn't be over and above, but it's there. They have to factor it in.
Right.
Let's see here.
Else I'll go work for them and just fly all around.
yeah. Well, they'll do a focus group out in California, one in Florida.
Green Bay.
Yeah.
So I know they've sent me with the
The link?
RFP. Well, no, I'm thinking in terms of finding their clients as examples.
With
They have a whole
Explorer,
list of
there's a lot of
They're all Canadian.
Right. Okay, and now I'm looking for CP2s.
Yeah.
And
Oh, Explorer's all
right,
guess
I
that's-
do know that she sent me a list of clients before. Maybe not.
Can we bring up their website and see if
Right.
there's something
That's what
there?
we're trying to do.
Right, we can bring up the
That's what
website
you're
and see if
looking
they have some. So, okay, let's see if we can get this here. And Let's see what that gets us. Live TV.
Where's your go to web browser?
Well, we've got to get to a computer here first.
Can we turn that one?
That's
Or
my
did you
problem.
do that?
That one's, I think that one's, well, it might be odd. I think I have to go through the, this device right here. And it's a Zoom.
Not the web browser?
Pardon?
Try the web
Not the
browser.
web browser there, or
Go
on the
across.
bottom all the way second from the end?
There, see what that brings up.
No, that doesn't do it for us.
That's still the same.
Let's go back to,
Can you go out to it on Facebook?
no, it's typically we have an HDMI connection, and I don't know why I'm not finding it now.
Probably because you don't have your computer hooked up to it. I have to hook my computer to
Yeah.
get on my HDMI,
Well, that's why I'm trying to get to at this point.
but your computer's not hooked up. So,
Well, if I can get back to the HDMI 3, then I can get to
Google.
well, it's
Pull up a Google screen.
well, this isn't going to work on that. Come on now. All right, here we are. Zoom, room 1. Well, no, I guess we can't. Let me get some examples to you tomorrow.
What's it showing on their website? Anything that would be a help?
Yeah, I don't know how it is we get out of Zoom on this thing, because it's separately run through the computer. Web browser. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I can't get out of this here.
It's kind of, their case study stuff is mixed in with their blog post, so it's kind of hard to, at least for CP2, it's hard to look at it individually.
so, okay,
Well, when's our next meeting?
a month from now. So if we get it, we can get what they do.
Get this back to them, or?
Or do we have a timeline when we would like to have this done? That's the other thing.
Did they say how long? 3 months? To do it? Did I read that in there?
Yeah. About that.
Yeah.
Well, if we table it and vote on it next month,
Done.
theoretically.
Yep.
Theoretically, could, still get it done by the end of the year.
Yep.
Let's see here. So 21st would be, well, 22nd would be our next meeting, I think.
Is it
Alright.
is it the
Well,
third
let me-
Friday? That'd be the 15th.
Oh, wait a minute.
Because March
it-
1st is a Friday.
March 1st is a Friday, so it would be
Yeah.
the 15th.
Well, then,
All right, we can table it.
Okay.
table it, and we'll get the appropriate information. And
So we get what we can get and then make a decision the 15th.
Yep.
Which way we go.
Yep. Okay, so that one's done.
There was a motion and a second on the floor, so we need to deal with that.
Those on the table or not?
I can withdraw my motion if you want to withdraw
Alright,
your
I'll
second.
I'll
Okay,
withdraw.
then I guess we're done. So we're,
With that one.
I think so.
All right, economic prospects. So, the Economic Development Commission may enter a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Stat 19.85 for market competition reasons to deliberate and consider potential commercial, industrial, manufacturing developments and governmental actions in relation thereto, and to re-enter open session at the same place thereafter to act on such matters discussed therein as it deems appropriate.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Shut off the machines and close the door.
That was definitive.
That's on record.
Yeah.
Well, we're legal then.
Is the tape off, John?
Pardon?
Is the tape off?
It is not. Okay, we are recording again.
And motion we return to open session.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None.
We don't have any invoices.
All right, so let's move past that. Next date we've picked already, February 15th.
Much.
Oh, is it March?
We're late for
We're in
February.
February.
Come on. Thank you.
How did Valentine's Day go for you? What? There was Valentine's Day in there?
Thank you. I earned that. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thank you, guys. Good to see y'all. Been a little while.
Well, I was gonna